A former UC Davis student has been arrested and charged in connection with multiple stabbings that left 2 people dead and 1 in critical condition since a week ago. Davis is a college town located just west of the state capital at Sacramento and is home to over 40,000 students at the University of California. It's situated in Yolo County, a relatively smaller county, but according to the National Alliance to End Homelessness, it has an estimated 641 residents living on the streets, at least as of 2020. The FBI recorded a total of 4 homicides across 2018 and 2019 for the city of Davis. But other than that, even in recent years, Davis is known as a relatively safe town. It's not known as the kind of place where the general public has to be concerned with violent crimes, especially something like murder. But that changed starting last Thursday along a stretch of less than 2 miles just north of the UC Davis campus. On the morning of Thursday, April 27th at 11:20 a.m., police were dispatched to Central Park for a welfare check on 50-year-old David Breaux, who was known in the community as Compassion Guy. For David, compassion wasn't just a nickname he went by or a word that he said. It was a philosophy he practiced every day in every manner he could. Whether it was from organizing intimate gatherings to share experiences about unconditional love, or committing oneself to certain goals, such as on September 20th, 2015, when he wrote a blog about the Syrian refugee crisis and how compassion relates to that. His most well-known contribution, though, was probably his role in developing an art sculpture at Central Park, known as the Compassion Earth Bench.
The city of Davis says that David was instrumental in the creation and organization of this Compassion Bench in 2013.
Tragically, at this same park, just across the street from the Compassion Earth Bench, David Breaux would be found as a fallen victim to what police called a brazen and brutal crime involving many stab wounds. He was pronounced dead at the scene, and in this initial attack, there were no witnesses. 2 days later, at 9 p.m. on Saturday, April 29th, 20-year-old Karim Abou Najm was also stabbed to death at Sycamore Park, literally just a few minutes away from his home. In an interview with KCRA, his father recounted their journey of being immigrants from Lebanon. To escape the war and violence in their home country, they came to the U.S. in 2018, where his son went to Davis High School, receiving his diploma with high honors, and then majoring in computer science at UC Davis, and interning as a software engineer at various companies. As a senior, Karim was just weeks away from receiving his bachelor's degree before he would be found fatally wounded on that Saturday evening. A witness saw the last part of the attack and interacted briefly with the perpetrator before that individual ran off westbound. Despite a search by police at night, no suspects would be found or apprehended. With the possibility of a serial killer on the loose, everyone in town was now on high alert, especially those who had no place to hide throughout the day, namely the local homeless community. On Monday, May 1st, just before midnight, residents at the encampment at the intersection of 2nd and L Streets spotted a man who appeared to be walking around rather suspiciously.
But he would stop along every tree to blend in with the tree because it's dark. And I noticed that because I was like, that's something that you would do if you're scoping something out. You know what I mean? So I was like, babe, he's really watching this. He's scoping us out right now. I said, hey, bruh. He starts walking normal. And then I said, you look like a dude that they've been describing that been stabbing people. And he takes off.
The mysterious man ran off, but later came back and briefly talked to 3 of the camp residents before he went up to one of the tents where a woman named Kimberly was sleeping in there alone. This man slashed through the tent and stabbed Kimberly multiple times before fleeing the scene. When paramedics arrived, she was able to communicate with them, and along with her friends and other camp residents, they were all able to provide a description of the assailant. But Kimberly was rushed to the hospital in critical condition, and as of this YouTube episode, she's still recovering in the hospital. Meanwhile, the assailant had fled on foot, going westbound down 3rd Street. Authorities immediately issued a shelter-in-place order throughout the early hours of Tuesday morning as they searched the area for the perpetrator, but unfortunately could not locate the man that was described as a light-complected male between 5'6" and 5'9", with a thin build, wearing a black or blue sweatshirt, black Adidas pants with white stripes, black shoes, carrying a brown backpack. Then on Wednesday afternoon, the police department received about 15 tips and calls about an individual just walking around near Colby Drive and Pine Lane. He fit the description that police had published and shared all over social media. Assuming this was indeed the wanted killer, It was rather strange. He was just walking around in the open, in broad daylight, near Sycamore Park, where Karim had been killed, at a time when it was all over the news that authorities were trying to catch a person fitting his description. He was wearing pretty much the same clothes as what witnesses saw during the attacks on Karim and Kimberly. Just like the witness descriptions, he had a backpack on, and police found a large hunting knife inside. When police asked him if he would come to the station for questioning, he said no problem and went along. There was no altercation or incident, and he was apparently compliant throughout the entire process. The next afternoon, Thursday, May 4th at 2 p.m., the police chief of Davis held a press conference to confirm that they had a suspect in custody who's been formally charged with 2 murders and 1 attempted murder. 21-year-old Carlos Dominguez. Not a whole lot is known about him in terms of whether he has any other criminal history, where exactly he grew up. It's believed he is from somewhere in the Bay Area. He's lived in Davis for about 3 years, and UC Davis released a statement confirming that Dominguez was in his 3rd year at UC Davis until April 25th, 2023, when he was separated for academic reasons. UC Davis also said that they would cooperate with the authorities as needed to provide any kind of information and support. A search of his home, where he lives in a house with other roommates, that search is underway with the FBI involved now.
We saw multiple FBI agents going door to door, knocking within a 2-block radius, questioning neighbors about this. We do know that the police have spoken to several roommates that live with Carlos Dominguez and that they have provided some information. If you see that white van there, that is a crime scene investigative unit. We've seen at least 4 people in all white suits with white gloves going in and out of the house. They've also been searching what appears to be a black vehicle in the driveway as well.
At the press conference, the police chief wouldn't disclose any information about whether Dominguez confessed or denied his guilt, but confirmed that he has been transferred to Yolo County Jail, and the case is going to be handed off from the city of Davis to county investigators. And as they build the prosecution, most likely we, the members of the public, won't be receiving too many more updates and details on this case for quite some time. Of course, if anything comes in that's worthy of sharing, I'll post a follow-up video. For now, I'm just grateful that this episode is about relatively positive updates and good news that we captured a suspect. So for now, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.